to just gonna describe what's going on while you watch. I hope it's gonna help you out. Um, I find that deboning the turkey and then stuffing it makes it, of course, a lot easier to carve once it's done. Because you just slice it like a meatloaf, and I find that a lot of people enjoy it. By the way, what you see right there is actually barbecue sauce. I make my own barbecue sauce, and I'm going to do some videos on barbecue sauce as well. But hopefully, you guys can get something out of this turkey video, and hope you enjoy. All right, everybody. The first thing you're gonna do is place that turkey on that cutting board with the back down, breast up. So what I'm doing right now is I'm taking that knife and I'm cutting right on the side of the breastplate. You're gonna do that on both sides, and you're basically just filleting the breast meat away from the breastbone. So if you filleted any animal before, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. And just let the knife drag down the bone. It's going to guide you. And as you can see, I'm just gently pulling the meat away as I'm cutting it. And you will need a pretty sharp knife. And as you can see, on my right, I have another knife there that they both have been sharpened just before we started to carve. Okay, so what's happening right now is I'm getting real close to the bottom of that breast, and I'm getting close to the wing, and I'm gonna start. That's like the wishbone right there, what I'm cutting through in that area. Okay, so I'm gonna start getting a little lower, and I'll get to the joint of where the wing and the breastplate comes together. And here we're going towards the back of the turkey. Again, keep that knife right against that the bones. Okay, you're just simply filleting it. Okay, we're getting down to the dark meat side where the thigh connects uh, to the spine and the breastplate there, and it's just a simple fillet. It's just not hard. Um, you're just cutting the meat away from the bone. Okay, and as you can see, I'm getting a little bit cautious with the skin right there, and see how I laid it over without cutting through. Um, you will eventually cut through that, but I'm really cautious about cutting through it too early because sometimes the skin on these turkeys, this was a frozen turkey, not a fresh turkey. And most of you guys will have a frozen turkey that you'll allow to thaw for approximately 24 hours. Do not put it in the water to thaw it, by the way. You just leave it out and let it get to room temperature before you start hacking on it like I'm doing here. And you'll get better with this. You'll get faster with this as you do it. And I've done it. I started doing this just a couple of years ago, and you don't get a lot of practice with it. I mean, you're gonna do one bird, maybe two birds a year, and so it can get a little bit tricky. And what you can do if you guys like ground turkey, then just wait for a couple of days after Thanksgiving and go to the grocer, and you're gonna have quite a few turkeys that are then priced, to move. And then do this. The same thing. You just fillet the turkey away from the carcass, like you see I'm doing right now. You guys will, you would have already done one by that time, and then you just go get you a couple of more and fillet them all. Get the meat off the bones, and then take the skin off, and all you have is straight meat. Put it in the grinder, and you'll have turkey ground for a lot better price than you would get if you just purchased it. Okay, so what you see me do right here is I'm cutting through the tendons, and I'm gonna pop the breastbone out away from the body of the bird, and getting underneath that joint is what I'm trying to do right now. And once you get the breastplate away from um, the carcass, and you got all of the tendons cut, I'm just trying to feel my way through it right now. And I'm gonna cut through it right there. Now, see, there's a joint right there, and all I was doing is trying to cut through to get the breast away from the carcass. And you can see I'm just filleting it. I'm just letting the knife gently touching against the meat, the bone, and just dragging it and letting the knife go where it needs to go. And you have to be real careful. And I'm going to show you why you have to be careful when you're getting almost done with it. I'm going to do it again. Bam! You just saw the thigh bone come away. And when you start getting down low but towards the spine of the bird, that's when you really got to be careful, because what we're going to do next, after you see both sides are this way, you're going to see me start working to get that breastplate right there, the carcass, the body, away from the rest of the bird. And just a little bit. There's the other thigh. I just got that joint away, and as you can see, I'm just picking my spots where I want to cut to get the tendons and the rest of the muscle away from the bones. Okay, trying to just conserve this, keep as much meat with the bigger pieces, and away from the bone. So at the same time, you got to be very, very careful. Okay, see, there's the other, I guess you'd call it a shoulder. Got to be real careful, because you don't want to cut too low. The reason you don't want to cut too low is because you're trying to not cut through the skin. Okay, so I want to start working now. You see, I'm going against the spine. I'm basically rubbing the spine as I go. And the reason I'm trying to do that is because I do not want to cut through the skin. Okay. Once you cut the skin, then when you get ready to make the roll, there's a hole right there, and you can repair it with some meat. Just put some meat there, and I will, but I won't have a hole. But if you make a hole later on, you're gonna see how I position some of the meat, and you can position some of the meat over where the hole is, and that way the dressing and everything won't come won't go through there. But it just doesn't look as pretty when you cut through the skin. And the bigger cut you make through the skin, the harder it is to repair. Okay, and as you can see, I'm getting close to the end, and it's just really simple. Some guys on YouTube, you'll see them do this same thing, and they may be cleaner than I am with this, man. They may be a lot faster at this than I am, and that's fine. They have more experience doing it than I do. Again, I only do maybe 2 of these a year. I think this year, however, I'm gonna do quite a few more. See, that's the way it should look when you're done. Bark, bark. That's the ass bone right there. All right. So now it's just getting the legs, bones right there. I'm cutting off the little tips of the drumstick right there. And the reason I do that, a lot of guys don't. You may not even see them do it, okay? Because they may not do it. But for me, it's a lot easier to go ahead and get those off, and then I peel the skin back off of the leg to cut the bones out of them. That's all. You don't really have to do that if you don't want to, but there's a lot of tendons in the leg, and if once you cook those tendons in the leg, man, they kind of get hard and they're just not fun to eat. So I peel those off, and I pull them with pliers to get them out, and that makes it for a better eat. But as you can see, I cut through the thigh muscle to get the thigh bone, and that's what I'm cutting out right now. And then I'm just going to trim it down to the joint. And when I get to the joint, then I'll stop and start working on that leg joint, the leg bone. Okay. All I'm doing right now is just peeling it down to get to that joint. There's the joint right there. So now I'm gonna go down to get to that leg bone. Here we go. I know my arm's in the way, but I'm basically tracing down the the leg muscle. See, I peel the skin back to expose the leg. And once I get that leg bone out of there, I just stuff the meat back inside. And it looks real pretty when I get done with it. Just keep cutting it out. Keep cutting through that muscle till you get to that bone. And then you just fillet the meat away from the bone. And it's going to come out in like a little V shape. And when you're done, the leg joint, the knee and the thigh and the shin bone of that bird will all come out together, and you won't have anything left in that area. Now you see those white pieces? Those are the tendons and ligaments. They are extremely hard, man. You don't want those in your bird. You do all this work and leave those things in there, and you know, they're not fun to eat. It's almost like eating a bone. All I'm doing right now is cutting more of the meat away from the bone. You can actually cut through that joint and take those out one piece at a time. But I don't do that. I just fillet it away. That's what I'm doing right now. Just fillet it away. Really simple. All right, everybody. So here we go again. We're gonna do the breasts now, and these are gonna be real easy. Okay, I'm right there at the wing bone, and I'm just gonna carve down. And those, once you get to a certain point, you can actually pull on those, and they'll pull right out. But I try to get a lot of the meat off the bone before I start pulling on it, because you'll end up pulling a lot of the meat with the bone. And yeah, I don't like doing that, because then you can put the meat back in. All of the meat that you pull out or cut away, it really doesn't matter, okay? Because all you have to do is just scrape the bone and get the meat back off, and just lay it inside the roll before you roll it up, and all that meat's still going to be eaten. So don't worry about how clean you get the bones. See, I just pull that right out, and don't worry about how clean you get it. I mean, you can always cut the meat off the bone and put it back in the carcass. So don't worry about all that. Just got to be real careful also when you're cutting that you don't end up cutting yourself. I mean, I've done it a few times, and I've prepped quite a few animals, so um, I'm very familiar with the knife. But don't be afraid to do this. This is not hard, and you don't have to be a pro at it, as you can tell. I mean, I'm not a butcher. I just I'm not afraid to get in there and tackle it. And so I don't want you guys to be afraid to get in there and tackle it either. And it turns out really cool when it's done, and everybody will think you some sort of meat genius or something. And so now I'm just pulling the legs back out, the wings back out, so it kind of look more like a bird. Okay, and there it is. Look at that beautiful breast meat. And again, if you guys go get some turkeys after they go on sale here in another day or two from Thanksgiving, and you're gonna do the same thing. And look at all that beautiful breast meat. All you have to do is get your meat grinder, or you'll put it in your food processor or whatever. But you get those birds to this state, and then you just fillet the meat, the skin right off of the meat. So right now, what you're seeing me do is there's little pieces of cartilage and stuff that's still in it, and I just got some meat shears and then cut those little pieces off. That's all. Just trim work is all I'm doing right now. Just a little trim work. I'm gonna feel around for bone fragments that I left by trying to get so close to the bone. Just feel around for them, and get all those out of there. And you'll see those little tendons on the end right there. I'll get some pliers to start pulling those off here in just a little bit. So just keep on watching and absorb as much as you can. All right, everybody. So now it's time to stuff it. So what I have here is the cornbread dressing, and right now it's only about maybe 2 cups, and I could have put more in there. Now I do want to caution you about overstuffing it. As you can tell right there, I could have at least doubled the amount that I put in, but it needs to be already done. Don't think that it's gonna cook inside that bird. So you need to put fully cooked stuffing in that bird. And so now we're just gonna twine it up. You're gonna make like a little roll with it, and you don't have to be an expert with the string. I'm not an expert with the string. You can have somebody help you with this. It makes it a lot easier. You can use their fingers to hold the twine in place as you're tightening it up. But you'll get the general purpose of what you see. All right, guys, we are going to get real close to the end right now. As you can tell, the only thing left now is to finish twining it up, and you'll see how many I tie. You don't have to tie as many as I did, but it all depends on how big the bird is. Sorry. You just want to make sure that there's no chance of the stuffing to come out of the roll as it cooks. Once you get it twined, you can then inject it. Okay, and then put your injection seasoning in it. You can put your rub on the outside. You could also have seasoned it while it was open as well. You can season the meat on the inside. So not just the season is, not just the skin is seasoned. So you take the opportunities to season your your bird, the way you want it and when you want it. But when you do it with the breast open, like it was before we rolled it, it's a really good opportunity. I didn't do that because I'm going to smoke it really well, and I'm going to put some rub on the outside, and I'm going to get a lot of flavor inside from the stuffing, and you will as well. So don't be afraid to get this going. It's super easy. You can do it. And remember, once the season's over, go get you a couple of them, split them up, make you some ground turkey.